Hello, everybody, and welcome into this week's 30 Minutes program. We're going to be talking about, well, Weakley County, and it's my guest that we have today. We're going to fill you full of a lot of numbers and names, but more importantly, they want you to know just how good Weakley County is. Erica Moore is with us. She's the Weakley County Chamber of Commerce Director, and Justin Crice, who's the CEO of the Economic Development Corporation and works with Weakley County's Chamber of Commerce. Thanks very much, both of you, for coming in. And Erica, you have been in the studio a number of times, so you know what goes on here, and that is there's a lot of businesses that do business with Thunderbolt Broadcasting.
That's right, absolutely. The best businesses in the world right here in Weakley County.
Yeah, and I'm very pleased to have so many of these local businesses that are still growing, providing for, and more than anything else, helping to build a culture that you folks want. And Justin, I'd like to ask you from the beginning, what is the culture of Weakley County?
I think the culture here is one that I kind of grew up in. I grew up about an hour north and near Paducah, Kentucky, in Ballard County, Kentucky. It feels like home anytime you come here, anytime you want to go somewhere else. And that's the type of relationship we want to build with both industry, both business, and then prospective business looking to invest here, that they see it as a home and a place to grow. And that's something you can sell, Paul.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be not from here, let's say. And where is your Chamber of Commerce, and who runs that chamber?
It is located in the heart of beautiful downtown Dresden at 114 West Maple. And we are right on the square, right across from the courthouse. And the director of the chamber, Erica Moore is the director of the chamber, and you'll also find, you'll be greeted by the wonderful Angie Lassiter. She is our administrative assistant for the chamber and the Economic Development Corporation, and Justin is in that building as well.
Do you have many people to come and ask about Weakley County at the chamber office?
You would be surprised at the number of individuals who come in seeking a Weakley County map. We have people who love a hard copy of a full map, and we've got those in abundance. Come on out. We'll give you one for sure.
And if they said, what's the best thing about Weakley County, what would you tell them?
The people, for sure. The best thing about Weakley County is the people. They're behind all of the wonderful things that this county is.
Is there a landmark for Weakley County? Is there something that, if you're coming from out of town, you want to definitely go to this thing?
Justin, you can also piggyback off of this, but I will take the first thing that I would say is the University of Tennessee at Martin. That is what the most incredible resource we have right here in our backyard that we are so fortunate to have. And as far as other landmarks, Garrett Lake is beautiful and Big Cypress Tree is gorgeous. So those are the three that I would say.
Justin, you moved here a few years ago, and you've made your way up to a very important position here. So what do you find it to be, besides what she just said?
Yeah, we've lived here 9 years, Paul, and I think one thing I think of is our downtowns and how do we feel when we are in our downtowns anywhere across the county. That can be in Dresden, that can be in Martin, that can be in Greenfield. And last night I was just in a historic building at Woodfire Pizza Kitchen that just opened yesterday for the first time. Sitting with Blake Stoker, having a really, really tasty pie. And, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were also in Weakley County. And, kudos to Alan, Joanna, and Lisa Latterman on that achievement. It's going to be a landmark, just like Blake's at Southern Millen is a landmark, just like, a lot of our local restaurants here that are members and contribute to our local economy are.
Well, let's dig into Weakley County. Somebody comes from out of town, whether it be a business or an industry, and I know those are two completely different things, but why do people want to come here and to do business here as a business?
A few things, Paul. We have a low cost of living. We've got UTM athletics, Division I, college sports here for the NCAA. We've got we're the 10th best county to live in Tennessee, according to niche.com, because we have quality schools. We've got that low cost of living I just talked about, but we also have a low crime rate. There's some days I forget to lock my door, and I'm not as worried about it as I was when I lived in Atlanta.
What did you say your address was? But in reality, people look for things that make them feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Erica.
Piggybacking off of that, we also have, like he said, we have an incredible school system, public school system, 6th in the state, and featured in the New York Times twice last year. Just incredible schools, but we also have the phenomenal post-secondary opportunities for really the sky's the limit. Hey, go Skyhawks! Really, right?
I was looking at some of the statistics. Weakley County slipped a little bit with its population here over the last few years. Why do you think that is?
Number of factors. During the financial crisis in 2007, 2008, there wasn't a lot of housing built in Weakley County. Now we kind of see not as big a developer-driven housing, but we've seen, and not as much multifamily housing. We've seen people, move out into the county and build, custom homes for themselves because we've had broadband access expand across the county, so people have been able to do that. I think we've got to see more investment in residential in this area, and specifically around Martin and Dresden and Greenfield, so we can support future growth as well. I think, we're at 32,902 at the 2020 census. We've grown a little bit because Martin had a special census done. So it's not as high as we need to be.
33,084.
Yep.
And that's a right. Good number. You're not falling apart, but you're not growing as fast back as you would like to. Because we were at 35,000, almost 36,000 at one time. And you'd mentioned it, and I think this is a bigger problem than maybe people realize. There is not enough housing in this county, and people are looking for places to live. And many of you know that are our listeners, of course, go to Nashville, and it's very difficult to find any place inside Nashville, as we call it. And the square footage is, 2,000 for 900 or maybe 2,500 for 900 square feet. And that is very expensive.
Yeah, I heard a statistic on the webinar I was just on before I came over, Paul. United States, and especially middle America in flyover states like we are, kind of mid-South, Midwest, we're 2.2 million houses short of what we need, single-family housing. And that's not to add in multifamily to that. That's a big number across the United States. So it's not just a Weakley County problem. It's not just a West Tennessee problem. This is a United States problem. And that's something that the state's getting creative on. How do we incentivize and, housing developers to come into small rural communities? How can we show projected growth for a smaller community like ourselves, a rural community, and how we can attract them and retain them?
If you just joined us, we've got Justin Crice and Erica Moore, and we're talking about chamber business and, of course, economic development districts. I think the best thing that happens here is the quality of life. And I don't know that I can really, shape that, but it seems to be people want to live in a community where they know people and get to know people and can get to know them pretty quickly.
I agree with you. Both the Chamber's mission and the Economic Development Board's mission, before we kind of combined forces, you boil it down. What was that? That was quality of life every day of the week, Paul. And when you look at, you can drive anywhere in 20 to 25 minutes. You can not be in traffic. You can go to lunch at a local restaurant and come back and get to work back on time. Even if you've got one of our, shift work at Champion Homes or Stanley Black & Decker, formerly known as MTD, or Parker Hannafin, you can go to one of our local eateries and get back. this is a great place to live, and that quality of life, that peace of mind that we have here, that's unrivaled.
I'm going to ask you the question that you get answered probably several times a week, but what does the chamber really do?
I'm really glad that you asked that, because that it's important that we have the opportunity to share that. Chamber is all about strengthening our local businesses and connecting people, fostering that economic growth across all of our unique communities. We serve as a resource hub for businesses, and whether those are big or small or industries or organizations. What we do is we work to offer networking opportunities and advocacy and support, really, wherever we can to help them succeed. A big part of what we do is increasing that visibility and engagement piece for them, so that they can, whether that's through a business spotlight or through community events and through partnerships that we have. The goal is for us all to come together, but also to drive that economic development and growth. Our ultimate goal really is to create an environment will really continue to help push and foster an environment where businesses thrive and residents benefit, and Weakley County continues to grow and stand out as the best county in the state.
What are people telling you that they want to have in Weakley County?
Oh,
there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Okay, let's hear it.
Fun, like lots of fun things they want to do. I've heard of an amusement park.
Why don't we have a bowling alley here?
Family Fun Center.
Family Fun Center. Okay.
I would totally get behind that. And we've looked at some properties to try to move those along, to try to say, hey, you've seen in downtown Martin and other parts of our county some redevelopment of existing buildings. Some vacancies we can't change, but there's been a couple that I've really been interested in to try to say, what can we imagine this to be? Just like you've seen Blake's at Southern Millen, Woodfire Pizza Kitchen, you've seen Blue Oak Oyster Bar, those La Cabana, the libraries downtown. There's a lot of investment going on, and I think with the right ingredients, we could get there. It's just having the right investors, attracting it. And I do want to give a shout out to our new county mayor, Dale Hutcherson. He's been very aggressive since he started. What does that mean? Aggressive? That means, he really wants to know what's going on in the economic development space, but he's brought in, an investor for residential development that's going to come into town the next couple of weeks, and we're going to meet and show them properties that we think we can put residential development on. Well, and that's one of the things that you got to have people, and there's certain qualifications for people who want to build or buy a house. And the housing market, it's a challenge in places. And as a matter of fact, cost of rent continues to go up. I don't know if it'll come back down into the new administration in Washington, but it seems as though right now that people want to own a home. They want to have something for the rest of their life, and they want to be able to pay for it. That Absolutely. Goes back into banks and many other sources of revenue and so forth. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm really excited to see what we're doing, what we can do as a team, because we have the best leadership here right now. I think one of my friends recently said all of the aces in their places, and I love that, because wherever you can shine the strongest and work as hard as you can in that space, that's where you need to be. I'm going to follow that up with simply saying, what kind of jobs are needed right now? Our big three sectors are manufacturing, healthcare, and then education, because we have a strong local school system in Weakley County, and then we have a great higher education partner in UT Martin. Those are our big three. Well, the chancellor, since you brought that up, sure. The chancellor is talking about 10,000 students for the University of Tennessee at Martin. Now, keep in mind that some of those are in different locations besides Martin, Tennessee, but they've got to have more housing to bring students in. They're about to break ground, I think, in the next, I don't know how soon it's going to be, but they're going to tear down one and build another dorm, a big dorm. Yeah. Maybe 350. Yeah, 350 to 400 is what Dr. Andy Luter said at a recent meeting I was at. And after that, there's not really any plans. So they're going to have to focus on some off-campus partnerships, public-private partnerships. And there's some properties that we're taking a look at, and they're in the conversation with Mayor Hutcherson and City Mayor Randy Brundage and the Chancellor and myself into finding something that works for the university that long-term gives us viability to land that number. If you meet the Chancellor, Paul, he's going for 10,000, and it's not a goal; it's a mission.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Blue Oval. It's kind of tapered down a little bit. We're not hearing as much about all the great things in building, vehicles that require a battery, and there's a lot of other things. What's happening to the south of us, and is it really going to mean that much to Weakley County?
I still think it will. Ford paused their factory for 2 years. They were supposed to open this year, and the battery facility with SK Operations that's in partnership with them is still going to open this year, and they're still going to start making batteries. A
similar project in Lake County.
Right.
It's kind of been on hold also.
You're right about that. Yeah. I think with the change in administrations, we may see some shift in priorities when it comes to that. But Ford has invested over $6 billion. This is their first ground up.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B. This is their first ground up construction they've done since the 1960s on a greenfield site. What that means is just basically a piece of property that's cleared. And so I think they've invested to where the point, if they have to move to a hybrid, I think they have the engineers to do that, and they could also turn it over in a couple weeks to internal combustion or an ICE engine. So I think you may see all three come out of that facility. It's big enough to do it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of issues dealing with infrastructure, and we all know that the governor spoke just recently and says he's put some money into the Department of Transportation to fix roads and build some new ones as well. And the one thing that we have to have that at least in my judgment, is that you've got to have out-of-town folks to come in town. You've got to have the tourism. How big is tourism for Weakley County right now?
Well, there's a lot of opportunity for tourism in Weakley County. Well, obviously, we have the university, and a lot of the university draws all kinds of. The rodeo each year is an incredible economic driver for our area, and a lot of other events that are all throughout the year, Santa's Village and a number of other opportunities like the Soybean Festival. But we are working now on a website for a brand new website for Weakley County Chamber and Economic Development that is going to be kind of more tourism focused. We're also working with the Northwest Tennessee Tourism Board and representative to try to enhance more opportunities for showcasing all the things that we have here, because Weakley County is really becoming kind of a food destination for Northwest Tennessee and West Tennessee. So we're really looking to lean into that as well.
Yeah, Northwest Tennessee Tourism's slogan is "Come to our corner," and I think that's a great point. And we've got opportunities, throughout West Tennessee and West Kentucky, and even Missouri, to make sure people know what we have, know what our assets are, know what our destinations are, and stay the night here. Mm-hmm. We've got a new hotel coming across from Walmart that's supposed to start construction in the next year or so. And so,
why do you think they're waiting?
I don't know that for sure, Paul. I haven't talked to them of late, but I think they're taking their time. We saw this with a couple other, I call it kind of urban infill, if you will. You've seen that with the car wash that was over there by Walmart. It took a little bit of time to come, and it just takes a little time to get everything in line. Mm-hmm. I do think we need it today. We could use another new hotel today because the Hampton Inn their occupancy rate's over 90%.
We're talking with Justin Crice and Erica Moore. We're discussing chamber matters. So we talked about day-to-day, but really didn't get into the crux of it. How often does the chamber meet?
The chamber, well, so are you talking about some of our new events?
No, I'm talking specifically when your board comes together.
Actually, we just had a board meeting. And we were very thankful for a great board. We usually meet about quarterly, but we may have a few extra meetings when we have big events that are coming up, like a golf tournament or our annual banquet that is coming up in April. So we probably have a couple of planning sessions for that one as well.
Mm-hmm. What's the purpose of the board? I mean, you folks probably could do it, with a few people, but I know you've gotten Greenfield, Gleason, Dresden, Martin, and as we move through all of this, you also have a board that is representing each of the communities here, with the exception of Palmersville, I guess. So
that's right.
Or Dukedom. So that's a side anyway.
Much like a county commission or any kind of a board like that, you need representation from each of our communities. In each of our business sectors, we have someone from the university on our board, and it's like that. We want as much representation, as much buy-in, as much input, more feedback about the kind of events that we should plan throughout the year, and the kind of thing that we want for our members to feel plugged into.
I've not asked this question before, but what do people want you to do, as opposed to not being able to do it, though?
I think that members and the community really now more than ever after 2020 and after what we've kind of been through as a culture in recent years, they want an opportunity to come together. They want the opportunity to network with each other and meet like-minded people who can help them with their challenges, because they face similar challenges and come together with similar.
Can you give me a challenge? What does that mean?
A challenge for a business? Oh, what about trying to get your name on the first page of Google? That's an SEO issue for a lot of the folks who are trying to stand out online. What about just financial compliance within the new regulations for a small business owner? Those are things that maybe a learning opportunity that we plan could really help them out with finding some of the answers that they need, or even connecting with other people in the room who they can say, hey, do you have this problem? Because I'm running into this issue, and solutions are right there. And once you make that connection, you have a friend for life, because that's how we are in Weakley County. That's how we're the best kind of people that you'd ever want to meet.
Who is on your board?
Oh, we have some really awesome board members. I'm sorry. I've got.
Yeah.
Do you want to take this?
So we have like an overarching board that the chamber president, who's right now it's Callie Smithson from Greenfield, sits on. But we have the 6 mayors. So that includes the county mayor and the city of Martin, the city of Dresden, the city of Greenfield, the city of Gleason, and the city of Sharon all sit on my board, with the WCMES GM, that's Andy Harrington, and then also the Economic Development Board Chair, which is Tommy Leggins from Martin.
Mm-hmm.
So the chamber board our president is Miss Callie Smithson from Greenfield, and our past president is Brian Leggins, and our future president is Miss Hannah Alexander.
What does Hannah do?
What does
she do? Yeah.
She works for the University of Tennessee at Martin in the Office of Public Relations. She's the best. We love her. Well, we love everyone on our board. Hey, Hannah.
I think a lot of people want to know who's there, who I can go to if they know that person. And you have somebody that I think you mentioned a moment ago. You try to have somebody from each of the geographic locations of your city hall and so forth. And I think you were talking about another person, Shelley Bowers, who's on your board.
Yes, from the electric company.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And of course, Amy Llewellyn and other really nice. I communicate with these people, so I know some of the things that go on.
Yes.
And Lauren Griffin.
Yes.
So,
mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And Miss Maria, of course, from Sharon. Miss Maria Lackey.
Now, that's a lady that you want something done, all you have to do is call.
That's right.
Sharon Furniture and Appliance.
She's wonderful.
We won't have much time left here, but there are a couple of things that perhaps maybe it's a burning that do you need to share with Weakley Countyans and West Tennesseans? And is there some?
I think we've got a couple events that Erica was going to plug today.
Absolutely. I know that we've got a lot in the works, so this is just preliminary. We have a digital newsletter that's coming out monthly, so there will be more events added to this list, but we definitely wanted to welcome the community and invite them out to our weekly rehab and nursing ribbon cutting on February the 18th. We have a chamber coffee at Sharon Furniture and Appliance on February the 21st. Our March Chamber Coffee is going to be at Dynamics in Greenfield. That's on March the 14th. And if you stick around that day, we will have a ribbon cutting over at Angry Axe that afternoon. That's in March 14th. And our annual banquet, of course, save the date if you can, for leadership graduation classes. That's April the 22nd. And our 47th annual Stephen Wright Memorial Industrial Appreciation Golf Tournament is on May 15th. And we will have a whole lot of other events that are coming through that you can find if you check our website at weakleycountychamber.com, and you'll get an opportunity to sign up for our digital newsletter.
I just want to commend Erica on all the events that we've seen started with Wake Up Weekly, our new coffee, but also want to commend her on our new newsletter. We haven't had one in 5 years. And so that's a first time it's ever been digital. So it's also archived on our website. And so we are, coming together to enhance our quality of life and to make sure we get investments for the future. We do have a strategic plan coming up that we're going to be engaging our community on. We're working with UT Martin and the county and our organization to get more info from the community, but also what do we want to see in 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years? What are our benchmarks? You look at our gross domestic product and you look at our sales tax revenue. Those are both up from 10 years ago before I started living here. And they've both grown 60 to 70% respectively.
One of the places that I feel as though it's got to be, if you're coming from out of town and you're a Tennessean, you got to stop in Dresden and go to the Ned McWhorter Library.
Absolutely.
And when I say that, the museum tells the story of a man's life who rose from being quite challenging as he grew up, ended up becoming the governor of the state of Tennessee, the late Governor Ned Ray McWhorter.
Yes, that's absolutely right. For our Leadership Weakley County youth and adult classes, the legacy of Ned Ray and all that he did to help West Tennessee, and extraordinarily as him being from Weakley County, we try to share in our classes. We have, especially in our Leadership Weakley County adult class, we have something called Ned Ray Bingo. I love it. It's so fun. We have a great time with that. But I wish that I could write a book about Ned Ray, because I think that's really extraordinary. It would be called Ned Ray Stories.
How do people get in touch with you?
Well, we're always online, but you can always call me or email me, 731-514-8520. That's my work cell. Or you can email me at director@wcedb.com. And we're going to be getting a new website. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let Erica give her number, but we're going to be getting a new website that combines forces again as we do it. And hopefully it'll be called weeklychamber.com. That's
right. Weeklychamber.com is what we're hoping for. And you can reach us at 731-364-3787, or you can email us. Our contact information is on the website, weakleycountychamber.com. Stop by and see us. We're just excited to get to meet you all.
Hope you folks have enjoyed our program today. Erica Moore and Justin Crice. We've been talking about a lot of things here that deal with the growth of Weakley County. If you want to come and move to Weakley County, this is a great place to do so.
Come on down.
If you want to shop here, they'd love to have you. Money stays in here in this county, and some of it goes to the state. But the bottom line is, think local first.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
You've enjoyed our program
Paul.
Today here on 30 Minutes. Paul Tinkle, pre-recorded.
You've been listening to 30 Minutes, a community affairs program on Thunderbolt Radio. You can listen to this broadcast and others anytime by visiting thunderboltradio.com and following the Thunderbolt Radio and Digital YouTube page. Thanks for listening.